Today I'm going to be sharing a book review on a book that I am actually going to be rating 1 star, which that is kind of sad because it is a Disney Twisted Tale book and I absolutely love this book series. And this is the How Far I'll Go, which is the Moana version of the Disney Twisted Tale. And I had high hopes for this book. I'm not a huge Moana fan. I've seen it maybe like 3 or 4 times in total since the movie was released. But I know I've seen the movie enough times that I know exactly the premise. I know exactly what happens. I do like some of the music, but it's just not my favorite movie. But I do know that this movie is very popular and I know a lot of people love it. Now, I'm also going to be completely honest that this will just tell you how much I did not like this book. And this is just another really great example of how just because you love a book and a book series does not mean you're going to love every single book. And sometimes when you love a book series, it can be very disappointing if one book in particular you really ended up not liking. But basically, I think it was the first, I don't know how many pages I got when I was like solidly reading it. But after a bit, I was like, either I'm going to have to DNF this or I'm going to have to skim because I just cannot sit down and read this for hours because it just does not have my attention. I ended up skimming it because I wanted to see how this was going to end, but I just didn't want to read the whole thing, if that makes sense. I read part of it every now and then, but it was just one of those books that I ended up having to skim just to get through it, unfortunately. But basically the whole premise of this book is, what if Moana was the one that broke the heart of Te Fiti? And this I thought was going to be kind of similar to what the movie was. It was not. I did like the fact that they kind of talked about what happened to in the movie when the parents talk about the father's friend that unfortunately was, I think he obviously, something happened to him in the book, which is in the movie, which is why the father is so against Moana going out into the ocean past a certain point. But I did like that because I kind of gave you a little bit of like a backstory as to what happened. I thought that was good, but the rest of it was just not good. Basically, there's this spirit, her grandmother, the spirit of her grandmother is guiding her. The island is failing. And then there's this other character that comes in. And I'm telling you, I honestly thought this character was a real person. Turns out she was a ghost. And which is fine. But I really thought the way they had her talking, I thought she was a real person. But she was a ghost. And I did not like this character. I thought she was very snotty. I thought she was kind of rude. And she just kind of had this attitude of not wanting to help Moana because she didn't want to trust her because of past experiences that she's had with people. And then there was another character that was introduced. Just overall, I was not a fan of this book, and I'm so sorry to anyone who was looking forward to this book and loved it. I'm sorry that I am speaking so negatively about a book, but sometimes this happens, and I actually had a brief moment of debating if I actually wanted to do a book review on this, but I was like, you know what? This is what happens. Sometimes you have a book series that you really like, and there's one book in the book series that you ended up absolutely hating. And it's okay. And that's what happens. So that's why I chose to share this book review. Now, I will say this. If you are a person that is like a diehard Moana fan, you're probably not going to like this because it's not the traditional story. It's not the same characters. It's probably going to annoy you if you really like the movie Moana. But if you just like reading the Disney Twisted Tales, I would say go ahead if you want to try it. That's just my personal opinion. But yeah, sadly, this book was just not for me. And I'm happy that I'm officially done with reading this.